We're going to look at finding asymptotes of rational functions. So first, we need to talk about vertical asymptotes. Remember that a vertical line is an x equals line. So your equation for your vertical asymptotes will always be x equals some number. To find your vertical asymptotes, what you're looking for is restrictions on the denominator. Or another way to think of that is values of x that make the denominator equal to 0. So let's see what that looks like. So first, we want to find the vertical asymptotes for this function. So all we're interested in right now is the denominator. And we want to know what makes the denominator equal to 0. So that would give me 3x is 6. So if x is 2, the denominator is 0, which is a restriction. So we know that x equals 2 would be our vertical asymptote. For the second one on the right, we want to know when does 2x plus 7 equal 0. Solving, 2x is negative 7, so x is negative 7 halves. So that would be the equation of your vertical asymptote. X minus 2, we want to know when x minus 2 equals 0. That is when x equals a positive 2. So that's the equation of your vertical asymptote. Here, when negative x squared plus 4 equals 0. So when negative x squared equals negative 4, multiplying both sides by a negative 1, x squared is 4. So at x equals plus or minus 2. So that will actually give us 2 vertical asymptotes. One at x is a positive 2, the other at x is a negative 2. So now let's talk about horizontal asymptotes. So first, a horizontal asymptote is going to be a y equals asymptote. And to figure these out, we're going to look at the highest power of x in both the numerator and the denominator. And so if the power is bigger on bottom, we are going to have y equals 0. So this is bigger on bottom, y equals 0. If it's bigger on top, we do not have any. There's none. There's no horizontal asymptote. And if the exponents are the same, we divide the coefficients. We'll go through this again in a second, but the mnemonic device that I use for this is Bobo Botten eats DC. Like he's a big old robot and he's hungry, okay? So Bobo Botten eats DC. So the Bobo is bigger on bottom, gives you y equals 0. The Botten is bigger on top, none. And the eats DC is if the exponents are the same, we're going to divide the coefficients. So divide coefficients. Now, we need to talk about the none here for a second, because what happens when we have a none is when the power is bigger on the top, we end up with what's called an oblique or a slant asymptote. And to find the value of that, it will be y equals the quotient. So we'll actually do the division, and our slant asymptote or oblique will have the equation y equals the quotient, and we don't worry about any remainder. So let's see what that looks like. So first, on this first one here, there's no power of x in the numerator, so it would really be x to the 0, right? And then in the denominator, we have x to the first. So the power is bigger on bottom, right? So it's 0. So this would have a horizontal asymptote of y equals 0. On the second one, notice that we have the same power, right? They're both x to the first. So that is an exponents are the same, divide the coefficients. So what are the coefficients? Well, our coefficients are 4 and 2. So y equals 4 over 2x, which is, I'm sorry, not 4 over 2x, excuse me. Why would I put an x in there? 4 over 2, so y is 2. On this next one here, we have a second power and a first power, so that's a bigger on top, which is a none, right? None. But remember, that results in an oblique asymptote. So let's go ahead and find it. So our oblique asymptote will be, we need to do the division. So we will be looking at x minus 2 dividing into x squared plus x minus 9. So x goes into x squared, x times, and so we will have multiplying here, x squared minus 2x, and then remember, we draw our line and change our signs, so those cancel, and then coming down here, we're going to have a 3x minus 9. X goes into 3x 3 times, so plus 3. And then we can stop because we know there's going to be a remainder. We're not interested in that. But the equation of our oblique asymptote will be y equals x plus 3. Lastly, we have a first power in the numerator and a second power in the denominator. So that's a bigger on bottom, 0, right? It's a bobo. Bigger on bottom, y equals 0. All right, good luck.